Yes, so we're discussing from a very, very wonderful scripture, the magical one, the life manual, Bhagavad Gita. And we dedicate this presentation to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Is this on live? Yes. Okay. So he is that personality who helped us to understand what is that inner self all about. Bhagavad Gita was bound the boundaries of India. And people knew only the chanting of the shlokas, but the inner meaning of the shlokas were missing. That's how, you see, now, in this day, in this date, we intellectuals, it's very difficult for us to connect with Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because we don't know the essence behind. Right? Our parents never taught us, and their parents never taught them. So it's not their mistake also. But now it's the time to revive that. And this was very much helped by this great personality, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 70. He crossed the ocean with 2 heart attacks, and then he goes to the other side. And there were all hippies there, all drunkards, high on drugs. And there he gave this Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. There he taught how to do mantra meditation. And guess what? All of them who took the message of Bhagavad Gita, their lives were transformed like anything. You can imagine people who were like literally degrading in their day-to-day life. They were elevated to a different platform altogether, where they attained that enlightenment, that bliss and satisfaction. All glories to him. Following on his footsteps, today's topic is exploring the inner self. A very, very important topic. To start with, I have a nice example. So say I'm going out of town, and then since you people are regularly coming for my sessions, I give you 1 lakh rupees cash. Please take care, I'm coming back. I cannot keep it in my room, so please take care, I'm coming back. And I come back after a week, and then I come to you, and then I gave you 1 lakh, can you give me back? And you're like, okay, yes, Prabhuji, please take. And then, after a few days, you get a lottery. 1 lakh. Now you kept that in your safe, whatever box, cupboard. And one night it is stolen. What will be your reaction at that time? Same like before, when I took the money from you? Huh? Why? What will be the reaction at that time? It will be painful, no? बहुत painful. If our salary is around 10,000, 20,000, it will be very, very painful. Yes? So what is the difference between the two? Can someone tell me?
In the lottery, we are attached to that money.
Oh, you are attached to that money because you got it for yourself. But in the first case, how was that?
That is our own money.
That's your own money, yes. Expectation, yeah, it's mine. But when I gave it to you, I told you, see, color dekha na, churana nahi. It's mine. So at that time, you were just a caretaker. But when the lottery came, it became yours. So you basically became attached to that. And that was the reason for that pain that came into picture. Please hold on to this particular concept. We're going to have this theme throughout our session. So Bhagavad Gita started like this. Entire army is set. One side we have Kauravas, another side we have Pandavas. See, in COVID, so many people died. But multiplied by many, many times, people died in the war of Mahabharata, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So you see here, on both the sides, we have the Kauravas, on one side we have Pandavas. Arjuna, he tells Krishna, take me between the two armies. And Krishna does that on the chariot. And after seeing the Kauravas, he says this, how can I punish my own family members? Arey bhai, tujhe pehle pata nahi tha. After setting up entire battlefield, everything is set, conch shells bhi blow ho gaya. Both the sides people have blown the conch shell. Basically, when the conch shell is blown, it's like the war is about to start. And then this person is saying, how can I punish my own family members? So there starts a very, very important concept in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna starts instructing to deal with the attachment. 2 things he speaks. First, understanding what is temporary, and second, acting on the platform of permanent. This is the concept that we're going to discuss today. And trust me, if you're attentive, you'll gain a lot of it from today. Especially for the ones who are potential leaders, it will be very, very helpful. And if you're going through some phase of your life which is a rough patch, that will be really helping you in some or the other way. My question is this: is attachment wrong? No. Yes. Maybe. No. Part of life. Attachment wrong thing is wrong, yes.
Time is, suppose money is coming and going, that time we are feeling painful. And attached to person also is going.
So we shouldn't be attached to money.
Friends are.
Okay. See, it's a very known fact. Sorry, I'll be taking my water breaks. Yesterday I gave a class in the evening and I was shouting like anything. So it's gone. Anyways, see, without attachment, we cannot prosper in any domain. Like for example, you have been given a project in your company to do. And your manager is like, "Arey, why are you not doing it?" I'm detached. It doesn't work like that. Yes. Without attachment, you cannot prosper, right? And how can someone be without attachment? How is it possible? You have to be attached to something in life, right? See, the problem is not attachment. The problem is this: attachment to temporary things. That is the problem. Please remember this line, because now we are entering into a different concept altogether from second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That is the inner self. Let's do a very, very childish activity, which will help you to understand a very, very important adult concept. I'll ask you to point different parts of your body. Don't worry. Good parts only I'll tell. Just point towards that. Right hand. Everyone. Yes. Head. Okay. Eyes. Right eye, to be more specific. Mouth. Chest. Belly. Right leg. Your body. Okay. Yourself. Huh? क्या हो गया? So when I said your body, what did you do? Full body. Yourself? Huh? See, it's a very, very important thing. Now we are understanding through common sense and logic. Okay. So when I say this is my laptop, so me and my laptop are different. Okay. So when I say my body, it means what? The body belongs to me. Like when I say my laptop, the laptop belongs to me. Right? So when I say my body, the body belongs to me. So now the question is, where am I? Remember this question. Next one, see, when someone dies, so how do you communicate the person's death? Say Michael has died. So I call the person to ask what happened. And the person says, Michael passed away. And different languages you see, same thing is told. वो चल बसे और तीर ओदरू in Kannada. Telugu? Channi poyaru. And any other language? Okay. So see, in everything, in every language, I'm talking about common sense. I'm not talking rocket science here. In every language, they're talking about what? Someone left. Arey, who left? The person is lying in front of you. Another very important thing. See, in our talks, when someone dies, say Michael is dead. So now I want to ask about his cremation ceremony. So I'll ask, when will Michael be cremated? Is the right statement? Jai Shri Shri Gandharvika Giridhari Sriman Mahaprabhu ki Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Is the right statement? When will Michael be cremated? What should I ask? Correct statement. When will Michael be cremated? What should I ask if this is not the right statement? When the Michael's body be cremated? When will be his body cremated? Isn't it? मतलब Michael चला गया, उसका body रह गया. That's what you mean, right? Another very, very important and a scientific stuff. Organ donation, you people have heard? Yes. So now people write a will saying, after my death, donate the organs. So now when the person dies and the post-mortem happens and then organs are removed, so what does that mean? The organs are still in working state. If you're not in working state, why will they take? Correct? Common sense. So now my question is, the organs are in working state when the person is dead. Why the body is not working? Organs are working, they are in working state. Why the body is not working? Isn't that logical? Isn't that scientific? This is the question that we need to answer. Something is missing. Something is missing. Yes, that's what we are coming to. Something is missing. And now we'll not talk about what do you think, what is missing, what I think, what is missing. No, we'll ask Bhagavad Gita, what is missing? Bhagavad Gita is a very, very scientific and a very, very practical life manual. I'm in love with Bhagavad Gita. Amazing book. Amazing. If someone reads it scrutinizingly, or I should say more precisely, studies scrutinizingly, you will see how you will literally get gems from this wonderful life manual. We'll today take one shloka and try to dissect this shloka into different parts and try to understand. Please repeat. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhirastatra namayati. Yes, someone can read the translation a bit louder.
As the embodied soul continuously passes in the body from the boyhood to the youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body to death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change.
Yes. So now there are 4 parts in the shloka. Now we're going to focus on the second part, Kaumaram Yauvanam Jara. Okay? A small activity for that. Let's name these personalities. Starting from that side. Mother Teresa, Rahman, Einstein, Nelson Mandela, Roger Federer, Steve Jobs, Obama, Oprah Winfrey, yes, and Queen Elizabeth. Now I'm going to show you the childhood photos of these people. And now you tell me who the personality is. From these only it will be. I'll not display my childhood photos. Okay. The first line. Who's that? First line. The first row. Any tukka maro. There's nothing, bonus nahi de raha hu main. No appraisal and no. Elizabeth. First row is Elizabeth. Okay. What else? Fatafat.
Third one is Albert Einstein.
Okay. Third one is Albert Einstein. Okay. Beach wala? Okay. Last one Roger Federer. Beach wala? Huh? ठीक है चलो कोई बात नहीं. We will display. The first one, Einstein. मैं झूठ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ ठीक है. Second, Queen Elizabeth. Third, Roger Federer. चलिए फिर से will do activity. Again you find out. I think ये थोड़ा simple होना चाहिए. The first row, Nelson Mandela. ठीक है. Second row, Mother Teresa. Okay, let's see. Next, Obama. Okay, let's see if. Okay. Very nice. Workshop में ऐसा करना पड़ता है. If you don't win, then how will you feel good? Okay. See, now, I want to ask a question. Why people are struggling so much to find out same person only, no? See, even in your childhood photos you see, there's so much of difference, so much of change, right? From child, to youth, to old age. Now, so much of difference will be there. So even science has proved that when a newborn baby is born, when a baby is newborn, there are 300 bones. And in an adult's body, 206 bones. And science has also proved that every 7 to 10 years, the body is changing. Means every cell dies and new cell are generated. So the thing is, the body is continuously changing in our life. But then the identity is same. Our name remains the same, no? We don't change our name, no, okay, childhood may something else, and then every time we don't have Namkarana Samskar. Yes, naming ceremony doesn't happen after every year we have a naming ceremony. No, it's same. So how does the identity remain the same? What is giving that identity? So this is the question which we are entering into. Next part of the shloka, the first part we'll see. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe. Dehi and deha. These are the two words used here. Dehi and deha. Let's try to understand this concept of dehi and deha. If you understand this concept, whatever sessions we'll be having in future, it will be very easy for you to grasp. And at the same time, you yourself will be able to answer many questions of your life. See, these sessions, I'm not going to give you solutions and answers to the questions of your life. But I'm going to assist you to trigger the thought process, which will help you to answer yourself. Because I cannot be with you all the time, right? You're stuck in something and Prabhuji question hai. It doesn't work like that, right? So, as we all know, in India, there's not much explanation needed. We are spirit soul. Bhagavad Gita talks about it. And that is Dehi, one who owns the body. That's how when I said your body, you pointed. But then when I said yourself, no, it's a confusion. Because when I say your body, we own the body. My laptop, I own this laptop. My body, I own this body. So where am I? That is the spirit soul. We are Atma, the spirit soul. Now, there are two layers to it. Very, very interesting. Listen to this. The first layer is called as the subtle body, and the second layer is called as the gross body. Now, what is this gross body made up of? What is the subtle body made up of? Let's ask Bhagavad Gita again. A nice shloka again from 7th chapter. Please repeat. Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu kammano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritirashtadha. Someone can read the translation?
Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, these 8 constitute my separated material energies.
Yes. So now let's try to understand the subtle body and the gross body in detail. So the gross body and subtle body. So gross body is what we see. Like whatever you're seeing me here, whatever you see in front of you, that's the gross body. That is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. You might have heard this, right? Right from this is called as Pancha Mahabhut. So these are the 5 things. So earth, water, fire, air, ether makes this gross body. Now subtle body is something which is interesting. Subtle body is something which you cannot see and comprises of the mind, intelligence, and false ego. And this is what Krishna was telling in the previous shloka. He was saying, Bhumir Apaha Anala Vayu Kham. Bhumi means? Bhumi Apaha. Bolo. Water. Bhumi Apo Anala. Fire. Bhumi Apo Anala Vayu. ये अच्छे से बोले. Vayu Kham. Ether. So these are the 5 which makes up the gross body. Then next he says, Kham, Manaha, mind, Buddhi, intelligence, Ahankar, false ego. So, see, in this particular shloka, Krishna made it very clear what are the gross body made up of and what subtle body is made up of. I'll explain this in more detail in one of our future sessions, just to give you a glimpse about mind, intelligence, false ego. See, now you might not see your mind, intelligence, false ego, right? Mind to hai na? People are going crazy with the mind. World Health Organization says 90% of the problems now in the age, in this century, the technological century, is only because of the mind. And I am getting so many counseling, so many people come for counseling. And most of the time it will be of the mind. You remember last time I spoke about one? 60 pages document was sent to me. And half a page I read and then you know what happened. It was affecting me. So people are going crazy. How many of you have mood swings? How many of you have uncontrolled thought process? It just goes on and on and on, right? Now also you're thinking something else now apart from this? Say yes.
Yes.
See, this is where the mind comes into picture. Intelligence. Intelligence is that factor which helps us to differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. Obviously, that is there, no, in all of us. False ego. I don't need to explain this. Yes. So, just to give you a glimpse how the mind works, intelligence works, and false ego works. Mind works on the basis of likes and dislikes. Okay? Intelligence works on the basis of correct and incorrect. Now see, I always give this example of a diabetic patient. A diabetic patient is in a marriage ceremony. You know, Indian marriages, food and everything. He takes the plates starting from one end and then he goes to the other end. Desserts are at the end, right? His plate is already full. Free mein milta hai to ekdam. And then he comes towards the end. Now he's looking at the gulab jamun there. The mind is saying, you like it, take it. And the intelligence is saying, Are pagle bhul gaya? Doctor told you if you eat any sweets, you're going to die. So mind is saying, Are forget about that, take it. You like it. And the intelligence is saying, no, it's not correct. Have you faced such problems? Two voices within. Now you understand where is it coming from. This is how Bhagavad Gita practical it is. It tells us. See, we cannot just tell, Are pata nahi do voice aa raha hai andar se, pata nahi decision kaise lo. It's easy. When you understand how the mind works, intelligence works, it's easy. Right? So here, if the mind is more strong, it will take over. And the person will take the gulab jamun, keep it in his plate. A plate mein to muh mein jayega. Right? But if the intelligence is strong, then he will not take. Right? He will be sober, nahi, healthy khana khana hai. Yes. So in this way the mind intelligence works. False ego is like, it makes us believe that I am this body. Don't worry, I'll help you to understand the statement. One more shloka which helps us to understand about existence of soul. Please repeat. Aprayam mitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yedam dharyate jagat. Please read the translation, someone.
Besides these almighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature.
So these 8 elements that we spoke about, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, the ego, they are actually material. So they are lower. And when it comes to the spirit soul, he's talking about the spirit soul here. The spirit soul is higher. So spirit soul is actually exploiting the lower material energy. Hope you understand this point. Now let's put everything together that we have studied till now. Soul, body, mind, intelligence, false ego. Very, very famous example, the chariot example. Please pay attention to this. If you just remember this one example, you'll remember the entire thing that I explained till now. So this entire chariot is our body. Okay? The 5 horses represents the 5 senses. So what are the 5 senses we have? Eyes, nose, tongue, ears and skin. So these are the 5 horses. Okay? Now the bridle, the rope that you see, which is tied to the horses, that is the mind. Today you'll understand why the mind goes uncontrolled. This answer you'll get from this particular slide. And the person who is holding the rope, it is the intelligence. Okay? And the person sitting in the chariot is the spirit soul, that is we. Now see, if this rope is held tight, you can control the horses. But if the person who is holding the rope is not strong, what will happen? The ropes, the bridle is left loose. Now all those 5 horses will go hither and thither. Who will get affected? The person sitting on the chariot. That is the spirit soul. This is exactly what happens with all of us. Our mind is not under control. Our mind controls us. That's the fact. It's very difficult to control the mind. That's what even Arjuna is saying. Arjuna is saying to Krishna, Chanchalam himana Krishna pramati balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoreva sudushkaram. He's saying, oh Krishna, this mana is very chanchal. I'm not able to control. And you know what? Along with that, it's balavat, very strong. obstinate, very ziddi. Oh Krishna, it's equivalent to controlling the wind. I cannot control both. So if Arjuna cannot control, who are we to control mind? Right? So mind is very difficult. But then one thing is there. If the intelligence is made strong, if it holds the bridle tight, then yes, we can control the mind. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Abhyasena. By Abhyasa, by practice it is possible. And this intelligence is what all about? It's the discrimination power between right and wrong. Now where will I get the discrimination power? When we read scriptures, when we read Bhagavad Gita. Automatically understand what is right and what is wrong. Because see, in this world, people want to give their own opinions. According to me, have you heard? I believe, yes, I believe. Arey, you believe according to what will I do with that? And then we also say, according to me. Have you seen, that's how in the lunch table, I'm sure all of you, when you have lunch with your friends, and people start, I believe it is like this, according to me it is like this, and the other person will say, that's how the entire discussion goes. But it's useless discussion, it doesn't go anywhere. But if you know something absolute, the truth, then automatically you know what is right, what is wrong. Then you can discriminate between the two. That's what helps us to make the intelligence strong. So in this way we understand that how the mind, intelligence, soul and the entire body, they're working in sync. Obviously we'll have an exclusive session on mind control. There I'm going to help you to dive deep to understand how the mind works. Right from the time in the morning when the alarm rings and we snooze, how the mind is working and how the intelligence is working. Please don't miss that session. Very, very interesting. It will help us. Okay. We have covered two things, two parts, right? Kavamaram, Yamanam, Jara. Boyhood to youth to old age, we saw that activity. The body is changing, but the identity is the same. We proved that. The first part, Dehi and Deha. So we are Dehi, the spirit soul, and Deha is the subtle body and the gross body together. Now, Tatha Dehantara Praptir. So it is saying, this particular shloka it says that soul is passing from boyhood to youth to old age. That's what gives the identity. When the soul leaves the body loses the identity. And the soul goes to another body. This is technically called as soul transmigration, a very important concept in spiritual life. I thought how to explain. I thought let me make some animation. I was telling this in one of the class. A traditional sadhu enters this room and he sees my presentation like this, he'll die in there itself. You'll find a lot of flow charts, pie diagram and all. Abhi kya karo, engineer ho na, to karna padta hai. Automatic thought process works like that. Yes. So this is gross body. Subtle body, soul. I don't think now you need explanation what it is. Now at the time of death what happens is, the person leaves the body, right? So this body is destroyed. So what remains is subtle body and the soul. Now at the time of death, depending on our karma, we get the next body. And then we are transferred to the next body. This is called a soul transmigration. Soul moves from one body to another. Please remember this. This will help you to understand the concept that we're going to discuss now. That is called as the mystery of reincarnation. Please come closer. Please come closer. So this particular thing, the mystery of reincarnation, is very, very nice. It's a scientific thing. You'll find many papers on this, scientific papers. Many researches are going on, and it is proved that reincarnation happens. It is not a religious sentiment. It happens. So there was a personality whose name was Dr. Ian Stevenson. He passed away in Feb 8, 2007. And he has studied more than 3,000 reincarnation cases. He has recorded that in his books and his papers. He was a professor of psychiatry in University of Virginia. So this personality and his team had a special way to find out is it a reincarnation or not. Please hear this. Very nice. Today we'll take one case study of reincarnation and try to understand different things. So here, this personality, Ian Stevenson, as soon as a child starts speaking weird things, he'll start, he and his team will start to that child and start asking various questions and help the child to go wherever the child wants. Because sometimes with kids who have that reincarnation thing, so they start saying, you're not my parents. And parents are worried. They're completely worried. So they approach doctors, different doctors, and then finally they land up here. And then various things are discussed. And see, a child will not lie. Especially a child who has not seen movies and TV series, for sure it will not lie. So all these different things, the different study is done on those kids who are just started speaking, who don't have much maturity or whatever. So one such example is this personality. His name is Deep Kapadia. He's still there in Mumbai, Borivali, and he is professor of mathematics in one of the colleges there. He was invited to one of our ISKCON sessions when we were giving a talk on reincarnation. And he himself spoke, what happened in his life. So I'll just repeat, whatever he spoke. And it was published, this particular article was published in 1984 in the newspapers. It was a big thing. So since it's a detailed thing that was given, I have taken this, but you can find many, many reincarnation cases. Even the engineer who designed the Titanic ship, even he reincarnated. He wrote a book on the secrets of Titanic. And when people exposed, excavated the remnants of Titanic, they could find all that what he was speaking about. So many are there like that, so many. So one thing, one we'll see here today. So this personality, Deep Kapadia, in his childhood, when he was just 3.5 years old, in Borivali, he started speaking in a Marwadi language. He belongs to a Hindi family, a Hindi speaking family, but then he started speaking a Marwadi language. Now his parents were not understanding what's wrong. And all the time he'll speak about going to Udaipur. He wanted to go to Udaipur. He would say, I belong to Udaipur, I belong to Udaipur. Now parents were really worried. They approached the team of Ian Stevenson. The team came and they started asking various questions to the child. And they started asking, where you want to go? Udaipur. Why you want to go? Because my family is there. Any other thing, I was working there. My job is there, and things like that. So now, this was a normal thing for Ian Stevenson and his team. So when he started speaking all this, so at that time, they said, okay, we'll go somewhere, we'll go for an outing. And the team, they decided to go to Udaipur, but they didn't tell the child. They wanted to test, is it really a reincarnation case or not? So Deep Kapadia, Deep, the small child, 3.5 years old, his parents and the team of Ian Stevenson, they all boarded the train for Udaipur. Next station was Udaipur, and in the previous station, Deep is saying, next station is Udaipur, we have to get down. And the team was astonished completely. They got down, and then the small child is leading the entire team of adults. He's walking in the front. He's crossing the bridge, he's going to the other side. There were some Tangawalas, the horse cart people. Horse cart, yeah. And he's, waving hand and he's greeting people. Raju, how are you? And things like that. And then this boy took to one house. The bell was rung. The door opened. And an elderly man, he opened the door. And this Deep, he went running and he embraced him. And he's saying, how are you, my dear son? Now the team was shocked. And more than team, the person who was embraced was shocked. But he started thinking, see this person, adult, he knew very well कि कुछ तो दाल में कुछ काला है. These people, maybe they want to take away the inherited property which I have from my father. So I should be very careful. He started asking various secrets which only this person knew, his father knew. And his father's name was Pannalal Agarwal. So he started asking, only me and my father knows that where he keeps his rifle. So Pannalal Agarwal, for your information, was a security officer in the Udaipur Palace, the museum. So he had, whatever, rifles or whatever, sword. So he asked, where are those weapons? And this boy, he took them to the first floor or something. He said, remove this photo. They removed the big photo and there was a door. They removed the door and there it was. And like that, many questions were asked and he answered all of them. Obviously, he had to believe now the small child is speaking. Then this small child was taken to Udaipur Palace Museum. And there, he started revealing those secrets only which Pannalal Agarwal and few others knew. And he said, there are few kerosene fans, get that, from our storeroom. And he started the kerosene fan. For small kids, it is just fun to press buttons. They don't know how it works. Here is a child who is putting kerosene in it and making it work. So when all this was happening, one thing which we have to ask the question is, Pannalal Agarwal has reincarnated as Deep Kapadia. Now let's analyze. So, Udaipur, Pannalal Agarwal, Deep Kapadia, Mumbai. Now, Deep is remembering all that happened in his past life. But when Pannalal Agarwal was murdered, this was the thing which Deep revealed. He said that I was murdered. And then the people who were there, they were asking them, why didn't you complain to the police? He said, Arey Baba, 3.5-year-old boy, who will hear? So he was murdered, it seems, because he was the one who knew some things, and then people did not want him to reveal outside, whatever. So he was murdered, and then obviously his body was burnt. So that is cremation. Here in Mumbai, someone takes birth and he remembers the past life of this person. So my question is, what is that connecting factor between the two? This is what is reincarnation. And the connecting factor is the spirit soul. Right? So the spirit soul from Pannalal Agarwal's body has moved to this new body. And here he is able to remember his past life. Not just 1, 2 or 3 or things like that. In India, abroad, so many places, there are innumerable reincarnation cases, which proves that there is a connecting factor between the two. And the shloka that we read, Tatha Dehantara Praptis, Bhagavad Gita gives us the answer. Yes, it is a soul that is passing from one body to another at the time of death. This is how precise and exactly pointing towards the right thing Bhagavad Gita does all the time. Yes. So there are many books. There are 100 books, more than 100 books in fact, and many scientific papers which prove about reincarnation. Another thing which I would like to highlight here is phobia. You know phobia, everyone? It's like there's a different fear altogether. Some people have fear of water. Huge water body, and they're like, some people have fear of heights. So recently one lady had come to meet me. So she's, I think, one of the top 10 best advocates in India. So she had some problems to discuss. She had come. So then I was like, I will leave you till down. So I was like getting into the lift. I said, you also get in. He said, no. I have phobia of closed rooms, small closed rooms. Claustrophobia, yes, claustrophobia. So you see, there are many phobias like that. Some people have phobia of lizard. I know one person. This person she catches snakes, but as soon as she sees the lizard, she goes crazy. One of our elderly devotee in ISKCON, so I got to know that recently. As soon as she sees the lizard, she'll make sure it goes out. So she has phobia of that. So like that, we have got phobias. Now my question is, this phobia is there right from childhood. Where is it coming from? They don't have much experience. There are some phobias which develop after experience, accepted. But there are some phobias which are already there, right from childhood. Where is it coming from? Past life. Yes. Simple. अभी ज़्यादा सोचने का कुछ है नहीं इसमें. It has to come from somewhere. It will come from past life. Yes. Also another question I have. There are likes and dislikes which people have right from childhood. Where is it coming from? Simple. Very simple question. Where is it coming from? Right. My question to all of you now is, this memory, where is it stored? देखिए ब्रेन तो बर्न हो गया ना, दूसरे बॉडी में गया है, तो बोलिए subtle body, that's the right answer. See, the mind, intelligence and false ego. So mind and intelligence holds that memory, and in Sanskrit the technical term is samskar, impression. Now also see, I'll ask you a question. If I tell you that close your eyes and tell me about your childhood, you'll not be able to tell everything, right? Some very important incidences where for the first time in your life the teacher called you on stage and slapped you tightly, or some accident that you met with, or some weird thing that you saw for the first time, right? So these are called as impressions, and those are tightly there, strongly there on our minds, and these impressions are carried forward to the next life. There are some dreams also which people get, right? Weird places. We have never been to those places, but we are there. So in this way we have got these different things which we remember. So some people are able to remember the entire thing of the past life. Some people like us, we have little bit here and there. So this is called as a reincarnation, and it's very easy to understand from Bhagavad Gita that how at the time of death the soul transfers from one body to another, and it carries the memory also from one body to another. Yes. So this is one of the scientific thing. Another scientific research that is going on and which is proved is near-death experience. So there was one lady, one case study I'm giving. There are many case studies you can go through. There's something called as clinically dead state. When high dose of anesthesia is given, the person is called as clinically dead. The ECG that is there, so that will not go too much of oscillation. It will have very feeble oscillation, almost straight. So no symptoms of life. Now this lady, she met with an accident somewhere, and she was got to another very big city because the hospital was good there or whatever, surgery was happening good, and she has never visited this city. And she was taken in the ambulance, and then she came to that, she was brought to that place. A very high dose of anesthesia was given because it was a very critical accident that she met with. And then when the high dose of anesthesia was given, no symptoms at all of life, almost dead state, clinically dead it is called as. And when the operation was going on, doctors were doing whatever is needful. And then the things were done. After a few hours, she came back to consciousness. And she started revealing some things which started a new field of research called as near-death experience. And this personality, Michael Sabom, he was the one who was witnessing that particular thing. So he is a cardiologist, and he's a professor in so-and-so university, and he has studied more than 200 near-death experiences. So she started saying that your terrace is very dirty. On the right side we have the water tank which is dirty, and the left side the pair of Nike shoes. In front of that there's an oak tree. And then she started telling, see, during operation, you people shouldn't speak personal things. It's a serious business going on. It was a question of my life. And what are you people speaking? One near-death experience, which happened in ISKCON. So one of our very senior leaders, a sannyasi, he met with an accident, and then operation was going on and all that. When he came back to consciousness, the first thing that he did was he slapped the doctor tightly. And he said, operation theatre is the time to discuss baseball? So what happened exactly here? Now let's hear from another near-death experience. So it's a video from a very authentic channel.
In Germany, Christina's doctors are also losing their battle.
Increase the volume a bit.
She has just minutes before her brain too shuts down.
This wire. This one.
Start her heart with a defibrillator.
Sollte mehrere Medikamente.
Der Patientin hatte zu viel Blut.
In Germany, Christina's doctors are also losing their battle. Her heart will not restart. She has just minutes before her brain too shuts down.
Es wurden Defibrillationsschocks
We were trying to jumpstart her heart with a defibrillator.
zum Schlagen zu bringen. Gleichzeitig
We gave her several drugs.
hatte mehrere Medikamente. Der Patientin hatte zu viel
The
Blut.
patient had lost too much blood. Her organs weren't getting enough.
Kein Mensch und ich am wenigsten
We really didn't think we could save her.
sein können.
Because Christina's heart has stopped pumping, many would consider her dead. Yet something seems to be happening with her mind.
Das nächste, was ich wieder weiß, ist, dass ich wohl
So
unter der
she's the
letzten-
one
I know. I was
who was
hovering
undergoing the
underneath the ceiling
operation.
of the room.
Also auch auf
I could see down on myself laying on the operating table. And I saw the surgeons and heard them talking to each other. The scenario was pretty hectic.
gab mir dann auch
I realized that this was about life or death.
To help understand near-death experiences, Some researchers focus on the content of these episodes.
A common element that occurs early in near-death experiences is what's called an out-of-body experience. At that time, the person seems to be able to see and hear things going on, but up from the vantage point above their body.
So this is the near-death experience. Basically, the person feels out of body. This is called as out-of-body experience, where the person is able to see what's happening with the body. The person is out of the body. Again, this is another very important scientific fact, that how the soul is coming out from the body and able to witness what's happening, right? So in this way, both the theories, or both the facts, I should say, it was a theory before, now it has become a fact after so much research. The reincarnation and near-death experience has proved that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Even the doctor who is saying, he's saying the same thing. The person feels that he's hovering on the ceiling. The person is hovering, the body is down. So the body and the person are different. Very clear, from his talk. So in this way, we understand from this shloka, Dehi and Deha, clear? Kaumaram Yavanam Jara, how the soul passes from one body to another, and at the time of death, Tatha Dehantara Praptir, to the next body. And the memory is also carried to the next body. The last line, Dhiras Tatrana Moyati. I would like to summarize my entire talk with one statement. We are not human beings with spiritual experience, but spiritual beings with human experience. Yes? If we can just realize this one statement very clearly, this is a quote by a very great personality. So if we can just realize this one very important statement, it summarizes the entire thing that we discussed today. Right? So it's a very important point to note. The first part, you remember, we discussed about the money giving and taking. You remember? Yes. So there we said attachment to the temporary thing is a problem. Right? So this body is temporary and we are very attached to this body. Anything happens to this body, anyone speaks anything about this, we go crazy. Have you seen that? What clothes are you wearing? Hairstyles? पता नहीं चलता क्या कैसे hairstyle करना है, etc, etc, etc. Have you seen that? We go crazy when people speak about it. So most of the problems that we face, obviously, is because of the mind, and also because of the attachment that we have to this gross body and the subtle body. And the spiritual practice helps us to go above this bodily platform. And anyone who is a potential leader sitting here listening to me, anyone who's going through a rough patch of life, it's all because of this one thing. The people who are going through a rough patch of life, you'll see, you can analyze yourself. It's only because of the attachment that we have. We're suffering like anything because of that. And the ones who are potential leaders, you'll be tested like anything in your life. All the parameters will be tested to the core, your stability, your tolerance and everything. But if you are a spiritualist, if you are a spiritual practitioner practicing spirituality every single day, like mantra meditation that we are doing, what will happen is you'll come to that platform where you'll start acting always on the permanent aspect of life. Yes? That is on the platform of spirit soul. And it's clear from this statement that we are spiritual beings with a human experience, not human beings with a spiritual experience. Right? So there are 4 needs of human beings. You'll remember? Needs, physical need, psychological need, emotional need, and spiritual need. Now please map. Now today we have discussed this. Now please map these 4 needs to 3 different entities that we see on the slide. Gross body, please map. Physical need, yes. So we all are taking care of a physical need, we all are taking care of this gross body. Subtle body, psychological need, and emotional need, both. Jai, thank you. The first audience has answered it correctly. And the spirit soul, spiritual need, very simple. Now it's very logical. We are taking care of the gross body every day. We're working, earning money, eating food, exercise, what all things we're doing, right? Taking care of the gross body. Subtle body, we're taking care. Now we are trying to get some achievement in life, and we are having that emotional need because we have people around us who are helping us to satisfy our emotional needs. But then when it comes to spirit soul, what are we doing? People say, there is so much of hollowness in my life, I got everything in my life, but still there's so much of hollowness. Why? Simple, Baba, spiritual need is not taken care. Our situation, you know how it is? We have a nice cage made up of gold and there is a bird inside the cage. Every day we are just wiping that cage, polishing nicely and things like that. And inside bird is chow, 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 chow and is dying. And we are busy cleaning and taking care of the cage. That's what is happening with us. And that's why people are not satisfied. Job dissatisfaction hai, relationship mein dissatisfaction. Is there any satisfaction at any level in our life? You see? No, one of my students was telling that, Prabhuji, I've got very less package. I said, okay, what is your package? He said, 5. Okay. So he said, I'm appearing for another interview. Oh, very nice. Then he got another job, another package of 12. And then he said, Prabhuji, मैं बोला, "But थप्पड़ खाएगा." And have you seen with the people around, at least I know my parents, recently they're buying a house in Mumbai. We stayed in a house, hall and a kitchen for 10 years. We stayed in that place, hall and a kitchen. So my parents were like, we should buy this house. And then after that, they were like, no, 1 BHK. Both our kids are growing up 1 BHK. Then they got rented 1 BHK. They got into a rented house. Obviously I was there. And then they purchased 1 BHK. And they said, nahi, abhi to bada kharch hai. Then now they are into 2 BHK. Now recently they called me up and they're saying like, we have purchased 3 BHK. And my mother was saying, villa would have been better. Satisfaction kabhi nahi aane wala hai. Why? Because on the bodily platform, how much ever you do, you cannot be satisfied. Because we are not taking care of the spiritual need. We are not taking care. But you see any sadhu, any spiritualist. Nowadays, sadhus are in pant shirt also. Because sadhutva is not external, sadhutva is internal. Where you have the qualities of a sadhu, right? The spiritual qualities. So, you see a person who is fully satisfied, you will notice that he is doing some spiritual practice. And especially in India, you will find the ones who are living the principles of Bhagavad Gita, doing mantra meditation, they are the ones who are so stable in life, so stable. And no one can challenge them. No one can shake them. One fear, which I see nowadays in the youth, in students, is they have so much of fear to face the outside world and things like that. And even if someone is very bold, I've analyzed one thing, they're just bold externally. Scratch a bit and you'll know how sensitive they're internally. Yes. Why? No spiritual practice. If there is no inner strength, what is the use of external strength? No. One gym trainer came to me. मैं लुक्खा सा आदमी उसके सामने, and he was like biceps and all that and huge body. I said, okay, sit. And I said, what happened? He's saying, I'm feeling very weak. I said, what is that? Very weak. So he was talking about the internal weakness. And I am a very, very frail person sitting in front of him, and I was giving solution, to help him out to become strong. So it's very important to note, internally we can become strong only when we are doing spiritual practice, and that's what will help us to lead our entire life, throughout our life. That's what is going to help us. So this is the practical tip. The spiritual activities will feed the soul, so don't starve the soul. The 3 things that I would recommend all of you to do. First, mantra meditation on day-to-day basis. We'll be doing it now. Second, studying Bhagavad Gita. Not reading, studying. Even if you study 1 shloka a day. Oh, by the way, did you all watch the videos which I posted?
Yes.
How many of you are watching now regularly? A few of you. So for the information of everyone, so I took this as a project and recorded videos on every shloka of Bhagavad Gita. So I've completed 15 chapters, around 500 videos are published. On every shloka, like today I spoke on 1 shloka, like that I've spoken for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. So I request you, just watch those videos. I put my heart and soul in recording those videos. To such an extent, after recording those so many videos, my voice went off for 4 months. So I request all of you that please take the benefit of this hard work that we had put. If you can just watch 1 video a day, I challenge and I bet surely you'll be able to understand entire Bhagavad Gita. Because in those videos, I'm relating firstly the Sanskrit shloka, and I'm explaining the Sanskrit shloka like I did today, and how that shloka is related to the 2 different shlokas, back and front, how the chapters are related in Bhagavad Gita, and most importantly, how to apply this in our day-to-day life. This will help you a lot. Just 10 minutes a day to start. You can start your day with that. And Association of Spiritualists, this forum is just made for that. where you can associate with so many different spiritual practitioners here. All these people, the volunteers, today they were extremely busy. We had so many things to do, but still they took out time and they called all of you, to come for the session. And they are, you'll see the dinner and other things, you people come, sit, nicely eat and go. Correct? No. You participants. So they are the organizers, they put in so much effort. They have to go into the kitchen, help in the kitchen to the cooks, clean this place, put the mats, and once everyone leaves, everywhere you have dal and this and that, and clean all that. Last Sunday it was 11 o'clock, when we winded up everything. So they are the ones who are doing it. And they are the ones who are selfless. They are not getting anything from you. And by the way, the 100 rupees and 50 rupees that is taken from all of you, that is just to make sure that you're serious. The 100 rupees, 50 rupees, what is it? I think one dish of our menu will suffice that particular thing. But that was taken only to make sure you people are serious, because kuch denge to aayenge na automatically. Yes. So they are doing a lot selflessly. And by the way, they have high package. They're working. Most of them are working. So whenever they call you, please, you respond nicely. Yes, and appreciate, their work. We can appreciate now also by applause for all of them. So that is Association of Spiritualists. So please come, please take their association. And I'm also doing a little bit of spiritual practice. You can also take my association as well. And we can give each other our association. Yes. So these three things if you do, the spiritual need will be taken care. For sure. Any questions? I open up for questions here for the next 10 minutes.
The image of the chariot one. So where is the chariot going? Like where does the soul will leave the chariot? Like what's the destination?
So wherever the mind will take, it will go. And also depending on one's karma, different situations will be made up. So the next session, okay, let me tell about, next session is called as the lost wealth. Many times people ask this, tell this nowadays. I don't believe in Bhagavad Gita. This is mythology. So this particular session, you will see what happened with us. See, we might be software engineers. How many of you are software engineers here? Oh, how many of you are engineers? All of you. Yes, few of you are not. See, we are programming something, but let me tell you the sad part. We have been programmed like anything. And how we have been programmed, right from our attire, our hairstyle, our way of talking, everything is programmed. Who programmed it? Why it happened? Next session, we will see. Literally, it's an eye-opener session, and you'll understand the pain that the spiritualists are going through, and they see general public, that how they are programmed very badly, especially Indians, how they are programmed very badly. So anyways, and I'll not be the spoiler. This is the trailer, come for the next session. So the session after that is a session on karma, dealing with the adverse situation. So this is the topic. In that session, we'll talk a lot about karma, what it is. So based on that, we get a body, right? And there is a set of karma that decides where we are heading towards. So different situations will be made, and we have to choose, between whatever, 2 options, 3 options, we have to choose. So like that, we'll keep going in our life ahead. So choice is given to us because we're human beings with intelligence. Like that. Answers your question?
So if we have a choice, like each of us have a different choice and each of us are leading. So how can Bhagavad Gita be the one, like, give a direction to?
That's the wonderful thing about Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who reads the Bhagavad Gita, you'll see that every person, will have, a very, very wonderful realization. See, obviously, every person is going towards death. There is no, to talk about that. In English, we say, right, as sure as death. So that is for sure. So everyone is moving towards that. And Bhagavad Gita teaches the art of dying. Yes. And maintain that stability throughout life. So inner stability, inner peace, mind control, regulated lifestyle, and dealing with other people in this world, all this will remain same. Doesn't matter where you're heading towards. Means what are the stops in your life doesn't matter. Destination, anyways, we're going to die only. So in between what's happening and how to deal with that in life, that is spoken in Bhagavad Gita. And also how to leave this body without pain, with a smiling face, that is spoken in Bhagavad Gita. And how to choose one's own destination, we can choose. That is spoken in Bhagavad Gita. So a lot of things are there like that. Anyways, in these sessions, you'll see how wonderful the scripture is.
So I have a question like attached to Lord Krishna and do bhakti towards him, then we can got mukti, the concept. So if reincarnation is happening, so like if we leave this body and again reincarnation happen, so what that called the word mukti? What does that mean? Like,
Oh, that's a very nice question. Okay, let me go to that slide. Okay, this slide. So gross body, subtle body, and spirit soul. So death, what happens? Death, gross body goes away. Yes? And you get a new gross body and then you're transferred. Mukti, your liberation is the subtle body goes away along with the gross body. So now, as of now, we will be in this birth-death cycle till the point we are stuck with the subtle body. Right? So that is Mukti. Understood? Chalo, my slide helped you. Yes. Hey, you're an old student, no? You ask me later.
But still a new question.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
So he's one of our very senior students here. Yes.
Prabhuji, so in Bhagavad Gita, when Lord Krishna is giving knowledge about Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Arjuna asked that how can you give this knowledge to Lord Surya, because you give birth in this time and Lord Surya is from time memorial. Then he said that I can remember all those my past lives, but you cannot. So when a demigod like Arjuna cannot remember his past life, how can a common people like us or whoever has reincarnated can remember all their past life?
Okay, got your question. So who remembers this past life? You have to understand. See, reincarnation, the one who has full memory of past life, is actually a big punishment. Why? Can someone tell me?
because the miseries he experienced past life that are still with him. So
Yes.
it will again on in mind.
I always tell this. If say the person has died out of a car accident or a bus accident, in this life he'll never get into a car or a bus. Right? And say, someone has killed him, he'll go finding that person, kill him. Yes. And also, these are still external and on a humorous side, but on serious note, which life will he live? He closes the eyes, he remembers something else. He's not able to live. This Deep Kapadia, he was asked this question. How easy it was for you to live a life now? He said, very difficult. I was not understanding who am I? Am I Pannalal Agarwal or am I Deep Kapadia? So this is not a benediction to remember past life, it's a punishment. And those people who have got a lot of attachment and lot of, I'm making a statement, people have done a lot of sin, they are given this as a punishment, to remember the next life, past life. So it's not a good thing. So Arjuna, why will he remember? Because this forgetting the past life is a benediction for all of us. Because if we don't forget the past life, we cannot live the present life for sure. But there will be some traces here and there because we were very attached to that particular thing in the past. So we'll have those some traces here and there. Answers your question? You have a question?
Yeah. So, since nowadays we are surrounded from so much distractions and all, so how to set priorities for spiritual needs?
We start our day with spiritual practice. When I was working, the first thing that I would start, and all the others who are working here, all the volunteers, we start our day with spiritual practice, where we get up early in the morning, not 9 o'clock, before 5 o'clock, yes. And then we sit, and first thing that we do is mantra meditation. So if you come here to the center in the morning between 5 to 7, you will find many people sitting here and doing mantra meditation. We do it for 2 hours every day. And then you can watch a video, 10 minutes Bhagavad Gita video is there, you can watch that. Read one verse of Bhagavad Gita. That is enough to start our day with. If this is done consistently, see in spiritual life, what is important is consistency. If you are consistently doing every day, you will see the benefit, you will see the result. But if your spikes are there in your spiritual life, thoda kar liya, thoda gap, it doesn't work like that. So consistently every day, even if you do for half an hour, just give half an hour. 15 minutes you do mantra meditation, another 15 minutes read Bhagavad Gita, hear a video. Simple, done. This half an hour investment every day, you will see the change and transformation in your own life. Firstly, you will get a lot of taste to practice spirituality. Right? Now say if I tell that now we're going to continue class for another 1 hour. Okay, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, we're going. Why? Because we don't have taste. And nor I have taste, we go on speaking and speaking and speaking. Right? So with time you will see, with your consistent practice, you will start developing taste in practicing. No, like one of my friend I remember in the college days, he would never get up in the morning, early in the morning, 6 o'clock and things like that. But for watching football match at 2 o'clock he'll get up. Taste है भाई उसको. Movies after movies, and I've seen people watching n number of movies. Why? Taste है उसमें. Similarly, with consistent practice of this 15 half an hour slot for spiritual practice, that will develop taste, and then it will be easy. Then it will be like part of our life. So for all of you, just to facilitate this particular thing so that you become consistent, from tomorrow we are starting at 7 o'clock, just a 15 minutes of mantra meditation. So you all can log in, Zoom, link will be sent to all of you, keep your mobile phone in front of you, and the instructor now will help you to do the mantra meditation. Just 15 minutes. Every day this will happen. The test is how many days you can attend. So it starts from tomorrow, link will be sent tonight. Yes, tomorrow morning 7 a.m. Please log in. कल पता चलेगा कि कितना taste आया है. But I would strongly recommend that please utilize this particular opportunity, because I don't know how long we'll be able to keep this on. Every day 7 o'clock, even volunteers have their own things to do, right? But still, we are trying to do this 15 minutes. And whenever I get time, I'll come. I'll speak something on Gita for 10 minutes. Does that answer your question? So there's a solution also I'm giving. Yes, anyone else?